Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with TraderSummit, and with us today we have a very special guest. We have TraderSZ. Many of you know him as Saeed on Twitter. He's a very popular crypto and technical analyst. I know he looks not only at cryptos, but he looks at other currencies, fiat currencies as well. I'm excited to have Saeed here today. How are you today?
I'm good, Blake. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I know that you're excited to actually show us some charts on some markets that are moving, and I wanted to pass over the screen to you so you can do so.
Yep.
All right. Hold on one second. There you go.
I hope I'm sharing it now. Let me know if you
can see Bitcoin. What do you get?
Yes.
What do you got with Bitcoin?
So, I mean, obviously, we've had such a big move, and I think people seem to forget after such big moves, you're going to have drop style relative. So I just see this as a normal chart, which is, people, it's funny how people forget where when it goes thousands of percents up, it can go thousands of percents down. It's just going to be relative, right?
Right.
So I think we're approaching a key level. There's two levels I'm watching. So what I've done here, let me explain this chart a bit. It's a basic chart. All I've done is take this low to this high here, which is the initial high made, and that's my range, big time frame range. And then I've keyed out the mid range here. So as we can see, when we write it up, that was the first half of the move. That was the second half of the move. So you can see this is a big congestion area, and we're at that point again. Now, the question is, where does it bottom, if it's going to bottom? I mean, this was previous all-time high, so I think something like this is completely fine. It's happened many times before. It's just people got short-term memories because they're exposed to the long side. They don't want to hear about the downside. So does it necessarily have to come all the way down there? I don't think so. And this is why the mid-range is important to me. So what I think may happen is there's two scenarios. One is the obvious scenario, which comes into here, holds, maybe accumulation for a while. So that's how normally Bitcoin behaves. It doesn't just V-shape like that. It V-shapes after a bottom is formed in the middle of a leg, but usually it's going to be like a consolidation for a while. So scenario one I'm looking for is if it comes down here and starts consolidating for a while, I think that's the bottom in. I look for any evidence, for example, here. And as soon as we break out, that's it. Or any dip back down into it is a buying opportunity in the future. So something like this. And what I'm doing is playing it level to level back towards the mid-range. So if the mid-range is cleared, so these are the two ranges we're dealing within, then I think we're back towards the base of the move, which is here. And then if that gets cleared, then there, just target one. If that gets cleared, target two. And I think that's just easier for me to deal with. Now, what if we get a scenario where it doesn't come down there? So what I'll be looking for is something like maybe a sweep of this low. And what I want to see is something like this, like a deviation. So the market then proves to me, and it does this, and that would suggest to me that market doesn't want to come back to retest previous all-time high. And that would be enough for me to start taking a long target one, target two, and then we'll deal with this point here. Could it be something like this? Could it be range for a while? Could it be like this? I don't know, and I don't care. All I know is if it does this, then target one, target two, and we'll deal with the rest later. And that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting. If you don't mind, I want to stop and ask you just a couple quick questions. Both of your situations, your first scenario and your second scenario. Your first scenario, I noticed you drew a little break back below 20,000, which is going to be, as you pointed out, the natural support. If it continues down there, probably because of the 2017 highs, and on your second scenario, you had it drop a little bit below 30,000. And in both of those scenarios, you're actually suggesting, which I agree with you, by the way, that there could be a little bit of a false breakdown, shaking the tree a little bit, if you will, before resuming higher. But I think what you're saying here is, regardless whether it's the first scenario or the second scenario, we are looking for a resumption of the trend moving higher over time.
I mean, bigger picture has not changed whatsoever for me.
All right. Very good. Well, awesome. So now let me ask you this really quick. You got Bitcoin on your radar. Are there any other cryptos that really have your attention as well?
Yeah. So I mainly focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum BTC. Yeah. So I actually think Ethereum BTC is gonna lead the way.
Oh.
I think that means if I'm bullish on Bitcoin, that means I'm even more bullish on Ethereum. So, I think FX traders get this better. I mean, I'm an original FX trader. Crypto is actually what I was trading on the side. I'm still 99%, 90% FX. So what I want to show on ETHBTC is interesting because, although we're putting back now, people seem to forget we've had a big rally out. So if I clear this chart up, what I'm seeing is we've had obviously whatever happened on the left, but what I'm seeing here is this big breakout that's happened, multi-year breakout. So after a multi-year breakout, you're going to get a pullback. You can get the initial rally out. Sometimes you get the retest straight away. Sometimes you get the retest later on and then resumption up. So this chart alone suggests to me, I think this is bottomed out. So the moment this tells me the low is in, I'd be heavily bullish Ethereum more than Bitcoin, just based on ETHBTC. For example, when we trade FX, if you're bullish on Euro and GBP USD, then Euro GBP being bullish means Euro is the better play.
Yep.
Same with here. And I think ETH is going to be the better play. Now, question is, obviously after a breakout, does it come down? Does it do a shallower pullback? Is this the SR level we take? Or is it coming to here? So this is where my ranges help me. Just like with Bitcoin right now, we never really know. Sometimes, we never get the perfect retest in the market. That's how the market works. Sometimes it overshoots it. Sometimes it front runs it. So what I've done is I've split it up into a range. So the leg we're in is in 2017 leg. And again, the mid-range has proven to be pivotal again. So what I know is if I don't get the pullback I want towards this region, so scenario one is if it pulls back here and then holds, then that's when I start looking for the longs. And by then, I'll be looking for FUSD longs and then back towards here. And then bigger pictures, because it's broken out of here, I would assume we're going towards here and then possibly towards there. Now, scenario two is what if this is the shallower pullback? What if this is it? Well, that's okay because I planned for that. The plan for that is play the trend continuation. So this is one range I'm seeing here as. If we break out a mid-range, then we open the gates towards these two targets. So if I don't get what I want there, I look for it above here, break and reclaim above here, and that should open the gates towards this level and possibly even that level. So I'm happy if I get the pullback, If not, I play the trend continuation, the breakout play above. So that would suggest to me that Ethereum's,
That makes a lot of sense. And I want to take a step back for a moment, and I want to highlight something that Saeed's doing for you guys. Is Saeed actually has a plan, no matter what happens, or he has a couple different scenarios that he's looking for, and then the next step for himself and any other successful trader is executing on his plan once he's made it. So you make your plan, then you trade your plan. So Saeed, very well done. Is there any other parting thoughts that you want to leave with the traders before we sign off?
That's about it, really, unless you want to ask anything. I mean, these are the main ones. I'm looking. I mean, we can quickly go over Ethereum, since we're here.
Yeah.
Just to complete it, with FUSD, we've got this high here. Okay, it's just so the timing. So if Bitcoin bottoms out, I mean, Bitcoin is still king. So while that's dropping, everything else is going to drop with it. So what I'm looking at is something like this. So maybe I should do a proper line, because the tool I'm using is a bit weird. So that's previous all-time high. Now with this, we've already reached the previous all-time high. So I would say, I think this level should cap the market. Any movement below here should be short-lived. So with this, what I'm thinking is, okay, we've already had the, I think the low will be here soon. So what I'm looking at is possibly a retest into here. And what I'll be looking for is the FUSD scenario, ETHBTC scenario then. So I think, maybe, if we get so this is my range low there, because that's the key level that's capping the market like that. So these are deviations. So I think possibly one more deviation. And then once that gets back above and Bitcoin gets back above, so at that point, I'll be looking at FBTC. Is that at our support level at the time? Or is that at our broken out of our mid-range? Either way, that would be a trigger for FBTC then that would suggest to me we probably push up and take out these highs here. And then here. And at that point, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a lower high like this, range for a while, or is it going to break out. But all I need to know is that is my target. After that, we can deal with the rest if the time comes.
And that'll be a great
break below here.
A great tradable bounce area, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And personally, I actually think Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin as well. So I'm glad my personal views are alongside your views as well. So Saeed, I want to thank you so much for being part of Trader Summit and for your contribution here. And remember, for those of you that don't know who he is TraderSZ on Twitter. Saeed, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. And so does the Traders Summit community.
Thank you for having me.